How do you order food for the office these days? How do you make sure it's on time and as ordered? How can you get it individually packaged? How? EasyCater. When you order on EasyCater.com, the food comes as ordered and on time 98% of the time. And when there's a problem, which is practically never,
thank you for calling EasyCater.
you can reach someone in about 9 seconds. How do you order 24/7 from more than 80,000 restaurants? How? EasyCater. Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com.
This is the men's room.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off the Kicksville. The Trippers, the Grasshoppers, the Hit Ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Call 9-844-999. Olo, we've got profile this in minutes. And headlines as well on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, a man was driving in Connecticut last week when he choked on some iced tea and crashed into a building. White.
Oh, you know, iced tea.
They didn't say sweet tea.
No, they did not. They said iced tea.
Okay. If it was hot tea, then yes.
I have had not iced tea. I've had a drink go down the wrong side one time, and I've choked. But I've never gotten to the point to where I veer my car off the road, where I would if I was driving when it happened, to crash. Even if I was losing control, you pull over for a second and hack it out.
But how did your body screw that up, right? It's happened to all of us. But you get that little thing in the back of your throat, the drop. If you're breathing, right, it keeps it open.
Right.
If you're swallowing, it's supposed to understand, hey, man, cover that one side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like the security guard reading a book and didn't notice something, but it's like, look, I took a sip. You know I'm taking a sip of something. How did you forget to cover that hole?
Right.
Now I got Coca-Cola in my lungs. I'm getting it because it's the worst feeling, man.
It is. It's terrible. But again, you've coughed and you hacked, and yeah, you close your eyes a little bit, but
yeah, I don't know.
into a building, man. Yeah. A 45-year-old man in the UK who was recently fitted with a bionic penis finally got to use it last week and lost his virginity.
All right, he did it.
And a few days later, he collapsed and was unconscious for 5 days.
What?
Whoa.
Apparently, it had nothing to do with the bionic junk, but now he's back in the hospital. The reason why I'm not working on it is because that's not a story.
Right, if it's not, because think about it. You're making us believe it's about the bionic penis,
right?
But you're like, because now it's just a story about a guy who fainted. And on the side note, he has a bionic penis.
Right.
Does he want that put in there? Right, like, so say there's a story about you, Mike, all right? And it says,
oh, yeah, right.
Mike Hawk collapses at work. By the way, he has a bionic penis. Like, you can leave that out.
Right. That's not pertinent to the story. Makes me more popular, though. A 23-year-old man in Atlanta broke into 8 different cars and stole a bunch of stuff. Then he got tired, fell asleep in one, and got arrested.
You hear a lot of stories about breaking into cars, businesses, home, and you fall asleep in your house. It just seems to me if I'm going to break into a house, I want to get in and out as quick as possible. Right?
Well, and how many hours are you putting in to where, man, you're now falling asleep on the job?
Particularly when your job's illegal.
Exactly. This is the one job, no, I shouldn't say the one job. This is one of few jobs that you can't afford to fall asleep on it. An asteroid with a skull face will pass Earth just after Halloween.
It said it's 25 million miles away.
Right. It's not like we can see the skull face. And I hope it's like a legit looking skull face, not if you squint one eye and
I saw it this morning. I was compelled. So the problem, you take pictures of things like asteroids, you know, they're always rotating.
Right.
So as you see the picture, it's spinning.
Okay.
Maybe for one brief second you see what looks like to be eye sockets. Like that much you'll see, but after that, it's like, you know,
it's a space rock.
Right. It could be an emoji that didn't have a mouth on it. You know what I mean?
That didn't populate correct. A set of penguin parents. This is great. A set of penguin parents left their baby alone at a zoo in Denmark the other day. So 2 gay penguins kidnapped it.
All right. Now, you mean these are penguins already at the zoo, right?
Yes.
The way it sounds like 2 penguins left it's like a left their. So what? They weren't interested in taking care,
I guess.
And then okay,
there goes all that disposable income.
Oh, that's going to be a thing.
But
well, we couldn't conceive between the 2 of us, so we adopted this one. I mean, maybe that was set up in advance. They don't know. Maybe the penguins got it going on.
Well, and how long did the parents leave? I mean, were they going off to get some nookie here real fast, and then these 2 just swept in looking for a kid? Or
I wouldn't have to think.
Yes,
in the
exactly.
animal kingdom, right? Like I don't know. On some level, it has to be understood that you're abandoning the kid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what they do. If it's some smell they put off.
Oh,
if
they just walked away.
Flip it the middle finger, something.
Middle flipper.
Yeah.
Oh, Miles, here you go. A 56-year-old woman in Maryland recently bought her first ever scratch-off lottery ticket.
Oh, no.
$50,000. Great.
How much money do you think you spent on the scratch-off?
I have calmed down my scratching. I'm about a once-a-week scratcher.
Yeah?
Every once in a while.
Day.
Well, here's the thing.
This one feels lucky.
You know what it was, man? When I was going to a store every day to buy a pack of cigarettes,
Oh, yeah.
I'd pick up a scratch-off. But since I don't go in the store every day to pick up a pack of cigarettes,
There you go.
yeah, no more scratch-offs.
I do buy the big lottery tickets from time to time whenever the whenever the
trust me,
jackpot is high
Powerball.
enough.
I would love to win.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if the Mega Millions or the Powerball's up there, I'll always buy those.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what the problem is, man? I obviously, you think about it when it comes up. I never make the effort to buy those. But honest to God, even if I'm like $600 million, I'm like, dude, I'd still go to work. So in the end, I'm like, because I like what I do.
Exactly.
So I'm like, it's not worth playing the lottery.
No, my side gig is a lottery winner. Photos of a tombstone in Russia are making the rounds online because it was made to look like a giant iPhone.
Wow. Well, we're through the looking glass.
Okay.
I guess.
Hey, man, it's just technology, right? We are officially there.
A new study looked at how likely you are to cause a crash when you haven't gotten enough sleep. If you only get 5 hours, your chances double. And getting less than 4 hours makes you 15 times more likely to cause a crash.
Yeah, plus you're just sitting there, so it's probably pretty easy for you to want to fall back asleep.
Exactly.
It's not like you're up and, like, look, man, you can get 5 hours of sleep and go do your job because you're working, moving around. But if you're just sitting there,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's
Well,
what
and then
tough.
we sabotage ourselves because everything about driving, we try to make it as comfortable as we can because we are going to be in there for an hour.
put
at a
your heat
time.
on the seat.
Right. You
Put
put
on
the
your
heat
favorite
on,
music.
Right. Windows are rolled up.
If anyone screws up on the road, my son instantly assumes they're on their phone. Sadly, 95% of the time,
He's absolutely
It
correct.
Dude, he's 6. That just pisses him off. Not because he thinks it's dangerous. He doesn't get all that. He hates because the light turns green.
Oh, now we have to wait.
It's time to go, man. Yeah.
Darn right. Go crash on your own time. A school in Pennsylvania recently got a tip from a student about a possible shooting that was being planned. They took it seriously, as they should, until they found out that the prediction came from a Ouija board.
Oh, boy.
The spirits are saying there will be a shooting.
means the guy who had his hands on the board's planning on shooting something.
Yeah, I'll be like, still say
At
something.
least you
Talk
know
to
who the
that
shooter is
kid.
now.
Talk to that kid. A man in Ireland got arrested yesterday after he missed his flight and ran onto the tarmac to flag down the pilot, which is always a brilliant idea.
That always works.
After he left court, he swung his suitcase at some reporters, pulled his pants down, and mooned a bunch of people.
So he's just that guy.
He's that guy. Gave him the
Wow,
old Irish
man.
potatoes.
Well, I'm black. I believe we call them the yams.
A new study set up cameras to see how feral cats interact with rats and found that they don't really go after them very often because they're just too big.
Yeah, well, in Baltimore. Oh, God, yeah. No, I mean...
No, Baltimore, sir, there are specific rats in Baltimore, but just understand they are much larger than your average rat. So I had never seen a rat until I got to Baltimore. So my assumption was that they were all that big, and I'm not kidding. They're they're shaped like a rat, but they are roughly the same size of your average house cat.
Damn.
And dude, when they would fight, it was a 50-50 chance who wins. I mean, and if you live in that city, you hear cats and rats fighting all the time. It's almost like background noise.
Ooh.
It's constant, man. Yeah.
A new study looked into dating violence with teenagers and found boys are actually more likely to receive physical abuse than girls. And the researchers say it could be because it's still socially acceptable for girls to hit or slap boys in dating relationships.
And there's a good chance we said something stupid. That was
that's very likely.
generally what brought it on with me, man.
That
You
sounds
know
like
we
something your
deserve it.
mother would do.
Right. It's not that she was being mean as so much as I was being an a-hole.
A woman in Minnesota recently met a random guy at a bar, found out that he was going through dialysis and needed a kidney, and decided to give him one of her kidneys after knowing him for just 2 hours.
Can I get a smoke and a kidney?
I like to think I'm a fairly nice guy, but I'd be like, good luck with that, man.
Good Samaritan award goes to. A man that met a woman on Tinder ended up calling police after he didn't get what he was advertised.
What was that?
I'll test your memory 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is...
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Isaiah. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola. All right, Isaiah, you understand now this here game is played.
Yes, I do.
All right, now listen, I'm going to be real honest here. Our very own the Ted Smith is out. Mike Hawk's been in the studio, so helping us in the background, where Mike Hawk would normally be, is our friend Cooper. All right, and one thing you get used to when people put names up on the screen is how different people spell different names. So when Ted used to do this, if it said Obo, honest to God, we knew that meant Bob. Now, I guess your name is Isaiah because, Cooper, this is what you put on the screen. IHSHAHIHAH.
He's waving his hands in the air saying that he didn't touch it, so I might have screwed this one up. He is completely throwing me under the bus for this one.
So I figured your name was not Ish-ha-hi-ha. And I said, I'm just going to say Isaiah.
I know exactly what happened in here.
Okay.
I know what happened.
All right, Cooper, never mind. You're doing a hell of a job. Mike's the idiot.
I am.
All right, Isaiah, you understand how this here game is played?
Yep.
Here is your story. We go to Tennessee, where a prison inmate, now he pleaded not guilty to charges that he escaped from the Morgan County Correctional Complex, only to then attempt to sneak back inside a few days later with a bunch of illicit items so that he could sell these on the prison's black market. The 37-year-old was among 8 people that got caught up in this thing, but he was serving a 68-year sentence for what they're calling especially aggravated kidnapping. Now, he escaped the minimum security facility, but he was captured when he was trying to get back into the prison walls just 2 days later. So he escaped from a 68-year sentence, and just so he could sell whatever on the black market in a prison, he came back 2 days later and reportedly attempted to smuggle drugs, cell phones, and tobacco. Now, 3 of his fellow inmates, they're each charged with aiding him and conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. Neither the Tennessee Department of Corrections nor prosecutors have specified his means of escape, but in spite of serving a 68-year sentence and having the ability to escape, he came back 2 days later so that he could sell cell phones, drugs, and tobacco to inmates. Lucrative business plan there. Do you believe that this genius is black, white, Mexi, or Asian?
Oh, he's got to be black.
Think of black?
Yep.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. Because...
Just what your gut's telling.
I guess. I don't want to be too racist.
Okay. I don't want to be too racist.
You want to stick with it, Isaiah? Final answer?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to find out if he was black, white, Mexican, or Asian next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitchola. You have entered the men's room.
We had to Tennessee on Profile This, and a guy who breaks out of jail. He was supposed to be in there for 60-some years.
68 years.
He gets out. Minimum security. He's gone for 2 days, and he tries to break back in with cigarettes, iPhones, drugs, whatever they can sell in prison, so he wants to make some money. So he breaks back in, that's when he's busted.
I would think if you're that enterprising and you break out of a prison, maybe you take those entrepreneurial skills on the road, but what do I know? The question was, do you think he's black, white, Mexican, or Asian? Instantly thought black, just said, man, it's a gut feeling and I don't want to be too racist. Oh, now you're racist. White. Like that. Okay. Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
What's happening, everybody?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing great.
All right. So we know that in relationships, when it comes to relationships, there is a lot of things that you have to do, and it's got to be big and it's got to be impressive. Usually, the first year of dating on the anniversary, it's got to be a big thing.
What did you do?
What did I do? I'm not there yet.
Oh, you're not there?
Good. We'll have tons of great ideas.
That's all right. I want to hear them
We'll
all.
surprise you.
We're close. I mean, we're
if you go out to dinner or something, we'll show up.
All right.
So, like,
that'd be great.
You think you have a two-top? No.
No, we will not show up. Only because this isn't out of respect, but I know you're not going to eat food I like.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we can go to a place that would have stuff that you like. Maybe.
But she's vegan, correct?
Correct.
It's unlikely that I would get what I want, and they might have some vegan
you'd
items.
Be amazed, man.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you can go to like my kind of restaurant that has a vegan menu, but if she goes to a vegan joint, they don't say, by the way, we have steak for...
Correct.
See, vegans, that's the problem, right? So, like, you can go to a restaurant, and they go,
have vegan option.
We have a vegan option, a vegan, not vegetarian, but we have a vegan option, or 2 or 3. Right? And I go, man, that's awfully nice. But if I go to a vegan restaurant, they're like, sir, we understand you're not vegan. We have lamb.
Oh, or they just have a really nice ribeye.
Oh, that'd be great.
You know, that you can have. You know what I mean? You can just smell the whole place.
That's all. That sounds like $1 million.
Or like sizzling fajitas.
And a milkshake.
So every time that, like, it's got to be sizzling and on fire when you walk through the table, everything's on fire. Yeah.
Another big moment in any relationship is the proposal. We all know that the proposal has got to be this big, grand thing, at least for a lot of relationships. A lot of people like to keep it casual and normal. But for some, it has to be a big thing. We actually saw it here recently with the World Series. You know, the proposal after the World Series win, which completely took it all away from the Astros and made it all about him. But, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. So no one even remembers they won. That's right. All they remember is the proposal. So we have been seeing a lot of Jeopardy in this segment lately, and it comes as no surprise that it is back in the news again. Somebody actually proposed on Jeopardy.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, normally when I interview the contestants, I base my conversation on little bits of information they have supplied us. But with regard to Michael Pascuzzi from Orlando, Florida, I have absolutely nothing on the card. So what do you want to talk about?
I can fill in for you.
Okay.
I just wanted to say one quick thing and ask Maria Schaefer right there.
Who is Maria? Where is she? Oh, hello, Maria.
If she would make me a winner today and marry me.
Say no.
Will you marry me?
Yes, of course. Maria, you responded too quickly. I was about to say we'll have the answer to that question right after this commercial break.
That would be what is yes.
What is yes? All right, good for you.
See, Robin rolls her eyes, but that's probably the most interesting part of that segment that's ever been.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Maybe the problem
depends on
is,
the people.
like I said, you have to have a ton of confidence to the point. It's like, look, if you honestly thought, like, would you marry me? You already know she's going to say yes.
Right.
You've talked about it. You wouldn't spring that on her if you hadn't talked about it.
Exactly.
Like,
this was not that big of a surprise. He might have joked about it to kind of keep her off the scent of it.
Sure.
But
did you hear her response? Just the idea is this, right? So typically when you see these things, World Series, all the rest of it, it's one thing when they say yes, but typically when it's in front of in this huge public forum, they're super excited. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. And she was just kind of like, yes.
Exactly. Because she knew it was coming.
Yeah.
If we win this, I'm going to do it. So there's that. We've all been on diets here.
No.
I think. Are you the only one that hasn't done a diet there? Phil?
I have never been on a diet.
Never been on a diet.
No.
All right. Well, Miles, I know that you've done a handful of them.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've done it myself.
Never really done an actual diet.
Never done an actual legitimate
No,
diet.
I mean, I try to eat better and work out,
Sure.
but I don't follow like this strict regimen of I'm doing this and I'm following this plan because I can't follow a plan very well.
And that is what they all tell you to do.
It's true.
Is that the plan itself is doomed to fail, and then it'll actually end up worse, isn't it? You know, these 30-day programs or these 60-day programs, they are doomed to fail after you're done with them. So really, all you need to do is start curbing some stuff back and not destroy yourself.
Like Weight Watchers does well because it's a slow grind and they keep doing it. Anyone I know that's done weight didn't complain. They complained when they stopped doing Weight Watchers.
Exactly.
But it wasn't like you said, these 30-day and 60-day Biggest Loser kind of things.
Exactly. And the whole point of dieting really kind of boils down to you want to live a better life and you eventually want to live a little bit longer, correct?
Yeah, I guess.
Right? That's kind of the basis behind it if you're not a single dude. But Ricky Gervais was recently on Jimmy Fallon and he kind of lamented about his size and kind of gave his opinion of dieting.
Now I'm getting fat again, my back aches. Well, have you ever thought of doing something different or like changing your diet? No. Well, I love what I eat, right? And okay, I do eat and drink too much. Every day I eat and drink too much. Every night I have wine, beer, I eat pizza, and people say, oh, if you give that up, you'll live an extra 10 years. Yeah. That extra 10 years, they'll be the last 10 years. So they're the worst 10 years. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I got to 80 and someone said, oh, you gave everything up, oh, yeah, it was awful, right? And they say, you got another 10 years. If I could say, okay, I'll have 20 to 30 again, they don't know. You've got to have 80 to 90. I've seen people in their 80s, hernias. When you're in your 80s, hernias. If you're in your 80s and you're making a cup of tea and that kettle's too full, if you lift it up, there's a very good chance your stomach can pop out through your That is not true. No, I want to eat and drink too much and then die. And that's right.
I've said that for years. But smoking, though. Take 7 years off your life. But it's the last 7 years, man.
Mm-hmm. I've been trying to curb what I've been eating at least a little bit because I kind of feel like I am a train wreck going in the wrong direction. That set me back months, man, because I'm thinking, you know what? He's got a point.
Well, you're big on what? The carbs, right?
He makes a tub of spaghetti every week.
Right.
It's a tub.
But then you eat it all week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
Right. That's a lot of carbohydrates.
One night you ate a lot of spaghetti.
Some people do like pasta night one night a week.
Yeah.
Not like 4 consecutive days every
He
meal.
said he's curbing it.
That's right.
And when you start with a mess, it's a lot easier to take stuff off. It's like when a 400-pound guy says, man, I lost 40 pounds. And you say that is great. Once you get down to like 250, it's like I lost 3 pounds left.
It's hard though, man. If you have to, it is.
I wouldn't know.
It's hard to eat healthy.
It is.
Unless the doctor specifically said, I mean, it's still harder, but your motivation, right? When the doctor says, listen, man, you're going to die soon if you, like, then I found people get a lot more motivated. But we just get nagged. Look at my belly. I can't see my penis.
As soon as I know I'm buying a pack of smokes. Immediately. Oh, no, I will smoke again. I know that for a fact.
You know it's coming.
Oh, yeah. Whenever they say, like, look, dude.
You're at that stage.
You've got, like, maybe 6 months. Away
we go.
Tomorrow, I am going and buying Reds, a carton of Marlboro Reds, and I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to drink whiskey, and I'm going to sit out back, and I'm going to smoke them.
Just liquidate everything and just buy smokes and drinks.
I think at that point, man, I think you bring your family together and you say, look, this is the news I got. And the only reason I'm telling you, don't judge. It's about to get ugly. Oh, Big Sheila's knocking on the door. I'll get right with you.
Turns out the nicotine ate the, and he lived longer.
And he did it. You guys will be proud. I have finally started watching new shows. I've gotten out of my rut of just watching the same thing over and over again. I still kind of paw back from time to time, but I've actually expanded out and have watched some new shows. So I've actually got 3 here for you. One of which I actually brought to you last time that I was in. I was only about 2 or 3 episodes deep. Stephen King's Castle Rock. I don't know if
you're a big Stephen King fan.
How is that?
I'm a huge Stephen King fan.
That?
It is phenomenal.
And which I had actually heard something good about. Here's the problem that I have, okay? So I've heard very good things about the show. But I never remember if it is like on cable, Hulu, Netflix, this, that. And so when I turn on my TV now, all these options pop up.
Right.
I don't even know which ones I actually have besides Netflix. So which one of these providers is it on?
This one is on Hulu. This is a Hulu original, and it is directed by J.J. Abrams, who is probably one of my favorite directors right now. So his directing genius mixed with Stephen King's writing prowess just makes this a combo that is a very, very fun show to watch. I have gone throughout the entire series. The entire first season is now available, and I watched the entire thing. Loved it. They did set it up for a second season. However, it's not unlike Stephen King to just completely cut that storyline off.
Okay.
Just to kind of leave it in the creepy manner that it did. They set it up so that it can go further, but I've seen so many of his stories where he's cut it off with there's a million questions to be answered. There's got to be another book in there somewhere, and you're right. He doesn't give it down.
Now, this is the question I have to ask, all right? So anytime I try to binge or watch anything, which happens seldom, the kids must be in bed. Occasionally, they will wake up in the middle of the night, stroll out to the living room.
Right.
A lot of the shows, I can even pause it or leave it on in the background. Nothing too bad is going to happen. Started watching Handmaid's Tale. That is not one of,
I have heard that.
Not one of, okay, so
I haven't seen that one yet, though.
Is this one of those shows that if they come stumbling in,
they could come in on something? The language is pretty bad. It's not terrible, but it's not that bad. As far as violence goes, not horrific.
Not worried about violence, not worried about language.
No TNA.
Because I beat the hell out of them, scream at them all the time. All right, so TNA is one, or if there's anything, if it looks like Pennywise. I paused one movie.
Oh, like
I don't remember what it was. Right.
Yeah, no creepy stuff for him. It's all kind of psychological stuff.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Now Steve is the kids are in bed, more likely the wife is in bed. He stays up late. He watches these shows, right? His wife probably not interested in a lot of the same shows that he is. Now, in your situation, because you were just talking about a relationship, all right? So almost a year, which means you spend a lot of time together.
Correct.
Now, do you guys watch these shows together, or what? Do you have separate shows? In other words, the Stephen King show.
Yes.
Is that a show that you can watch at any point in time, or does your girlfriend have to be there with you to watch these shows consecutively based on the show? Is it based on the show? Is it based? Do you see what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying.
You probably have watched shows that you did not want to watch that she watches.
Yes,
but if you start a show, in fact, our girl Bree,
together, right?
Does mornings on another station, and I hear her the other day, and something about cheat or whatever it was about relationships. One of them, and she said, "Man, honestly, Netflix cheating." You start this series together, right?
Yeah, you got to stick
one, right? But you have to watch it together,
right?
Right? God forbid you get an episode ahead.
The Stephen King one is not. She will sit there and watch it,
but she's not interested in. Oh, you do watch this one without me.
Correct.
That would not be a problem.
Now, she's interested when she sees it. She doesn't know what the hell's going on, but she's captivated by it. Now, and she's also kind of easily distracted. So
what show have you watched together that if you were to cheat,
Netflix cheat,
and watch a show, would she absolutely just want to wring your neck?
Impractical Jokers, absolutely.
Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers. Have you ever seen that show?
No.
It is hilarious.
Is it just a blooper show? I mean, it doesn't go like in order. It's not sequential, is it?
No. Well, it is. The basis behind it. It's four guys out of New York, and they're improv artists, is what they are. So they come up with these weird things that they have to do in public to embarrass each other. And then if they refuse to do it, then they lose a point. And then if you lose too many points, and you become the show's loser of that episode, and then you get into what is called the punishment, and you cannot deny anything in the punishment. And they get savage. They had one where this guy was sitting there, and he was sitting on this public reading forum where a bunch of authors brought in their own works, and then they go up to the front, and then they'd read an excerpt from their book, and they'd talk about it and stuff like that. They set this guy's phone to go off with this most annoying ringtone ever. Set it on loud, and of course he's got an earpiece in there, and as soon as he starts reaching for it, they said, nope, you leave that phone there. And he just let that phone ring as these guys are trying to read their works and whatnot. People were screaming at this guy. They went up there, they tried to silence the phone. They actually silenced the phone, and they told him, put it back on the ringtone, so that it could just go off again and stuff like that. It's not all that bad, but it does get pretty darn good. But that's one of the shows that kind of brought us together. Right. So that's one that we got to watch together. Okay. Another show that I've picked up recently, I was really excited about this one. Matt Groening had a new show on Netflix by the name of Disenchantment.
I read about that.
Yeah. He's the guy that did The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. He's got did Futurama. I love Futurama. I don't think I've seen a single episode of The Simpsons, but I know it's a fantastic show. It's still going strong. Love Futurama, and I really wanted to watch Disenchantment. I watched the entire first season of this show, and it's interesting and it's weird, and it's not the bust your gut laughs that I had with his other shows, but it's still, I'm intrigued, and I'm going through it a second time, because I remember that with Futurama when I watched the first season.
But see, that's why. There's two things I read about this. The first thing I read was an interview with Matt Groening before I'm on an airplane, so I'm reading this, right? I'm doing this thing, and he said, I'm doing it because I want to do it. It's fun, blah, blah, blah. The second thing I read was after it premiered, and this particular person said, look, the first episode I didn't love, but like you, went to the thing.
Sure.
They said it is what it is, but they said if you didn't already know who Matt Groening was, you wouldn't necessarily like the show.
Correct.
So in that sense, I'm like, well, then is it a good show? Because they said it's more like, it's not like inside jokes, but if you're familiar with Matt Groening.
Right.
Then you will enjoy this, but it
is enjoyable. It's not like it was a bad show. It didn't.
Is it a good show? If you can't answer it, then there it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, right.
It's an okay show. I recommend it. I still did enjoy it.
It's okay.
I still did enjoy it.
I'm glad you're not a food critic. The food was meh, but go.
Eat it.
It's one of those where, give it your own shot. All right. There were some parts in it that were certainly funny, that I did really like. So there is still that humor that he's got in there. It's still the old drawing style. So there's funny parts in it. Check it out. I do actually recommend this show. And then the third one that I've been watching is Jack Ryan. I am on the season finale. I have yet to watch the last episode, and it's a very enthralling series.
Okay, I heard that was good.
They're hour-long episodes. There's 8 of them. I haven't read a single Jack Ryan book. This actually made me want to pick one up and start reading it.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, everything I've seen that's Jack Ryan inspired, it's been very good, and my thought was cool. I don't have to read the book.
What number of Jack Ryan are we on now?
What number, Jack Ryan?
1, 2, 4.
Well, I mean, like as far as we know, famous actors.
It was Baldwin, Alec Baldwin,
it's like
Harrison Ford, and then there was someone after Ben Affleck, I think.
Yeah, I want to say.
And now John Krasinski.
John Krasinski. I think that there was one more. That Chris Pine guy, didn't he do it once?
Was he Jack Ryan also?
Was he Jack Ryan, or was he Jason Bourne?
Jason Bourne was. Hold on. We're
getting to the Bond level of
Renner.
Yes, Jeremy Renner.
So yeah, Chris Pine was Jack Ryan. I didn't actually see this one. This was my first. This was my first iteration of Jack Ryan.
Can you only do this with soap opera doctors, but otherwise like some kind of espionage spy dude? Right? It's Jack Ryan, 007, right. Jason Bourne. Like anytime you get
Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher. God, that sounds like a porn name.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher-Rounder.
It doesn't matter which, my first name, my last name. They both
Jack
tell you.
Reacher.
You know my specialty.
So it's basically about this new Syrian terrorist. He's supposed to be this new the new Osama bin Laden. He's planning something big, and Jack Ryan is the only guy at the agency that's really kind of picking up on him, and he's trying to be gung ho and take him down, whereas everybody else is kind of holding him back and no, we got to do this certain way. And he's got his superior is this guy who's actually he's got some good knowledge of actually how all this works. He's made all of Jack Ryan's mistakes, and so he's kind of keeping him from making those same mistakes, and he's actually showing him that no, on the whole scale, I've got this whole thing figured out. So you just kind of stick with me, and we got this thing down. So
Jack Ryan, talking to your kid. No. I know what you're about to do. I've made them. Just trust me. I need you to trust me on this. We'll like get Legos.
That one's on Amazon Prime, though. So it's getting hard to watch these new shows anymore because, like you said, you turn on your TV and you've got these 4 different platforms that you can go, is it cable? Is it Amazon? Is it Hulu?
By the way, we call it, that's the definition, first world problem. There's just so much good TV.
Used to be just channels.
To watch.
Actually, I saw a breakdown of that as far as where to go if you're into movies, the amount of movies, the library, shows, quality of shows. They broke all this down amongst them. And depending on what you like to watch, there really is one better for you than the others, depending on what it is.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We got headlines coming up here in minutes. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go to L.A., where a proud 28-year-old becomes the first ever busted for a scooter DUI. Meanwhile, a man tricks other men into sex pretending to be a woman, then finds out that they had sex with a guy. Budget airline in Indonesia gives a woman seat on a plane in the loo. A man who accidentally puts car in reverse and drive-through won't be enjoying his delicious Mountain Dew. And a tourist in Zimbabwe gets a real close-up picture of an elephant. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
All right, our top story. A man that met a woman on Tinder ended up calling police after he didn't get what was advertised. The man was told by the Tinder match that she would meet him in parks or her flat for sex, but with a catch. He needed to be blindfolded. Not seeing a red flag, the man agreed and made his way out to the flat, blindfolded himself, and went inside. During the encounter, the Tinder date began performing oral sex on the man. Wanting to get a peek at the action, the man lifted the blindfold to find
Peekaboo!
A man performing oral sex on him.
Peekabob.
Turns out this wasn't the first time. The man had actually lured 3 other men in the same fashion. And as Thrill earlier described, he actually had allowed some of those men to have anal sex with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 of the 4, 1 didn't complain. My question is, how do you not get a red flag where it's, hey, I've never met you, put a blindfold on before you even show up?
Right.
It's one thing if she's there and says you want to wear a blindfold to go whatever.
Right.
But like, come on, man.
I feel like this is actually an old story. Didn't this happen not too long ago, kind of the same thing?
I'm sure it has.
Where a guy wanted people to sit there blindfolded where they then strapped him down. And then he did some nasty stuff.
I'm not remembering this one, Mike.
No? I could have sworn it was a little while ago.
It's a dream you had.
Either that or I'm living in the Matrix. I don't know. In other news, further proof that we can't have nice things. The LA court system saw a recent milestone in connection with the new electric scooter craze earlier this week. A man was stopped by police that was operating said scooter with a blood alcohol level of at least 3 times the legal limit.
Bet he was.
We have had the first man that has been issued a DUI on these scooters.
Could have been you, Miles.
I have a real scooter, like with 2 wheels. These are like the Razor ones where you.
One of those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, look,
these are dangerous, man.
I realize that. How fast do those things go?
About 40 miles an hour.
They'll go 40 miles an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually had a friend that was riding these not too long ago. Just this weekend, they were talking about how excited they were about going to ride them. She gets back and she says, "Remember those scooters that I bragged about? Don't go ride them because they actually." She had a story by the end of the day that marked the second fatality within a month on those scooters.
Are people taking them full speed?
They're taking them full speed. They're not wearing helmets. And like you said, they're like the Razors. You have to stand on them. You don't get to sit down and control them.
Why do we as people do that? Think about it, right? So you get a car, maybe your car can get up to 160. Most people, in spite of the fact you have a seatbelt, you're inside, all these things, you just choose not to do it. You understand the inherent danger, right?
Right.
But if you get something where you're just standing on it and it's this narrow thing and you know you can go 40, we're like, hell yeah.
That's right. One guy died by just jumping off the damn thing.
Well, yeah, because you don't realize how fast.
Because you're going 40 miles an hour.
And if you fall when you hit your back of your head, it's the end of that.
That's it. Speaking of driving under the influence, a woman in Florida was arrested after she caused a car accident while drunk with her 3-year-old in the back seat. Always a fun idea. Police arrived on the scene to find that the woman smelled of alcohol, her eyes were glassy, and she was slurring her speech and muttered, quote, "I'm drunk, okay?"
Well, okay.
Which is sure to get you arrested, which she was, and faces charges of DUI and property damage.
Well, good, man. They didn't hit her with endangering a child.
That's got to be in there.
Maybe
somewhere.
not. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and they skip over stuff. But if nothing else, just say, as a mom, the child you're endangering was yours.
And your boyfriend was in the car. I don't know if he must have been drunk, too, because
That's why
he wasn't
I
driving.
only drive drunk with other people's kids in the car. I never want to put my kids in danger.
There it is. She faces DUI with property damage, DUI with person under 18 in the vehicle, and threatening public servant.
Okay.
Interesting. She must have done something to the cop. All right, gentlemen, it has happened again. It is time for
Man versus Beast.
Ribbit. Oh, you did cut it down this time.
I did.
Nice.
Ribbit.
One few ribbits.
No, you didn't.
No, I took out a ribbit.
You need to count ribbits, Miles.
I'm going to time this out next time.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to time it out because I think you're lying.
It's shorter, like maybe by half a
They
second.
only said, could you cut that out a little bit down, like 5-6 times?
Yeah,
And he did.
and I do every time, and it's never enough for
It's
you.
not
guys.
us, it's the people in corporate.
It's a great sound effect. Can we just leave it?
It's corporate.
Damn it. This was almost a case of death by selfie, but due to a technicality, it remains a man versus beast. A woman in Zimbabwe was out on vacation and taking pictures of the beautiful sights and animals in the area, an action that proved fatal. While out and about, the group came upon a herd of elephants coming into the national park. The woman ended up trampled by one of the elephants she was photographing and passed on later on that day. They just flew into a rage, which, honestly...
Because we want to be left alone.
Right.
Use telephoto, man. I mean, even the guys from National Geographic, it's a beautiful picture of a lion. They're like, I was 300 yards away in a ditch. Used
And
their
not only that,
wild
but they
animals.
already said no pictures.
Did they?
Yeah, they told everyone.
Did they say no pictures?
They said, hey, no pictures.
Clearly, that's on the elephant's ride.
They also say don't feed the animals and don't get out of your car at Yellowstone.
I want peanuts.
I know.
No pictures.
It's just...
I don't get it. That's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is on.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. If you missed any of today's episode, download the Men's Room app there. You can check it out anytime, anywhere, on demand. All right, we'll see you next time for Your Guess Is As Good As Mine, the random question, and the word.
Yeah, I guess so. Who the hell knows? But in the meantime, we be all about this badge. So until next time, please do what you best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
All right, showtime. You ready?
Born ready.
Great. Did you bring the dongle?
What's a dongle?
Never mind. We'll just show them on your laptop.
I was supposed to bring my laptop?
Don't panic. You shared the presentation with me, right?
I forgot.
Well, if you log in, then we can...
My password. I was about to say I forgot my password.
You ordered the food through EasyCater, right?
Yes?
We'll be fine.
Food can make or break a presentation, so make sure you order at EasyCater.com. Individually packaged food delivered right on time. How? EasyCater.